These Teflon and Scotchgard chemicals permeated the living world. Today, every baby is born with Teflon chemicals in their blood.
C8 is one of the elements they need to make Teflon.
PFOS, PFOA, C8, these are all names for this group of miracle chemicals that came out of 3M initially and out of DuPont.
They are aware, clearly aware of the risk of the product. Their own documents showed that this is a toxin. Their studies were showing rats dying, dogs dying, monkeys dying. They were seeing testicular tumors, liver disease, pancreatic disease.
Unfortunately, monkeys, even at the lowest dose, were dying after being exposed to PFOA.
And they know that these primate studies have a direct relationship to what we'll find in the human population. At one point, DuPont came out and said, if your drinking water is showing more than 1 part per billion of C8, then you better not drink the water. It's 1 drop of C8 in an Olympic-sized pool.
How high were your levels when they told you about your water?
They're supposed to be under 40 parts per trillion. Ours is 26,000.
26,000?
We didn't know it at the time, but the evidence showed that 3M and DuPont, they knew all about it.
That DuPont had knowingly poisoned us, they knew, and they went ahead and did it anyway.
So you're 3M in the 1940s. You've invented hundreds of new products over the years, but none of them have really taken you to the stratosphere. You're looking for that one breakthrough product, the one thing that's gonna change everything for you. And that's when you discovered something big. A chemical called perfluoric octanoic acid, or PFOA, also known simply as C8. And C8 was special. It was non-stick, heat retardant. It was water resistant, which meant that this single chemical that you discovered was gonna change consumer goods forever.
Some people use a little oil or butter when they cook so that things don't stick to the pan. But I use polytetrafluoroethylene.
Some sports call it non-stick for short. Now that's cooking.
So you supplied your C8 to DuPont, another chemical company, and they use your C8 to make Teflon, a new wonder material that was put into everything people buy. Everything from pots and pans to fire extinguishers, waterproof clothes, furniture, takeout containers, pizza boxes, carpets, electronics, and even dental floss. All of this contains some sort of Teflon, and that Teflon was made using C8. Basically, you were able to get your grubby little fingers into almost every single product people interact with on a daily basis, which meant you became insanely rich. But there was just one small teeny tiny problem. C8 and all the other chemicals you made like it are extremely toxic. We're talking like cancer-causing birth defects toxic.
I was originally born with just one nostril, limited vision in my right eye.
Bucky Bailey's mother worked in the DuPont chemical plant in 1980 in Parkersville, West Virginia, making Teflon, the non-stick surface for pots and pans. What Bucky's mother didn't know at the time was that she was exposed to a chemical known as PFOA.
She was working directly with the chemical while she was pregnant with me. The doctors, they were just completely scared. They said, don't get your hopes up. He won't make it through the night.
And you said your mom is now suffering illnesses herself.
She is. She has thyroid disease, which is linked to the chemical.
Exposure.
Chemical exposure, yes.
Which meant that if anyone found out about just how toxic C8 was, your breakthrough product, your ace in the hole, would be no more. Lawsuits would come pouring in. The billions would stop flowing. So you were left with only one logical option. Intentionally hide it from the public. Suppress your findings about C8. You want to make your billions first, then worry about the consequences later. By then, you'll have so much money and power that a few lawsuits here and there won't even matter. Today, we finally know that C8 is linked to all sorts of diseases, like kidney cancer, thyroid disease, testicular cancer, and a whole host of other terrible things. But it's too late, because 99.7% of Americans already have C8 in their bloodstream.
They are found in every one of you.
Prior to 1977, perfluorinated materials had been found in human blood.
At first, 3M and DuPont were checking to see the contamination levels of their workers. And so naturally, they needed to compare those workers' blood levels of C8 with the population so they could see what the difference was. So they started going to archived blood supplies and checking to see what clean blood versus the blood of their workers might look like. There was no clean blood. They tested kids, they tested adults, they went to Asia, they went all over the world, and everywhere they looked practically, they found their chemicals in people's blood. Eventually, they did find some clean blood. It turned out it was the blood that had been taken from Army recruits and archived, saved, at the start of the Korean War. That blood was clean because the Teflon chemicals weren't out into the environment at that point.
Yes, you watching this right now probably have this forever chemical in your body, and there's nothing you can do to get it out. While 3M, by poisoning the world forever, 3M is now one of the largest, most powerful conglomerates in the world, and they barely even got a slap on the wrist for it.
They called this fluorine chemical the devil's piss. It was so potent.
Sunlight doesn't break them down. Microbes don't break them down. Heat doesn't break them down. Nothing breaks them down.
A lot of chemicals, when they go into your body or when they end up in the environment, they break down, they slowly decompose. PFAS don't do that. Once you put PFAS somewhere, it's going to stay there practically forever.